the Coalesce podcast. My name's Grant.
And I'm Meg.
And today we're going to jump into what it looks like to do editing with Coalesce. And we were talking, it seems like there's been a lot of episodes. And what's this, episode 6, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
Episode 6. And Coalesce doesn't take us this long because we're having to explain. We're just like, why is it taking so long? We thought we'd just take a few episodes to show everything, but we have to explain Vue and how a lot of the different things work in Vuetify. And so we're trying to go through that whole process. So I think if you're just learning the Coalesce stuff, this is significantly easier. But we're just going through this so that somebody who is not a complete beginner, but at least early on in the process can really get a handle of exactly how this goes together and be really productive using Coalesce moving forward. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a page. We're going to put a little editor by one of our questions. So like up here in the corner somewhere, Meg's going to find an aesthetically pleasing spot to put like a little pencil or something like that.
Something.
And when you click on the pencil, we're going to navigate to another page. You wouldn't have to do this way. You could use a modal pop-up. You could do a bunch of different things, but we're going to navigate to another page, do some routing and things like that. And then we're going to load up the object because we're going to be on a new page. And go ahead and grab that information, edit it, and show you how that works. So let's go ahead and add that. Let's go ahead. Should we just add the page first, and then we'll put
let's add the page, and then we'll hook up the buttons.
Stuff. Okay.
So first things first, if you want to add a new page, you always head over to your router. And over here, maybe we'll add right underneath questions, a question
editor.
We could also just call it question. And then do like ID, and then you go to the /question/ID page. So this is kind of a question of how you want to set up your slugs. And it kind of depends.
So in this case, you're setting up for question a slash, and then the actual, in our case, a GUID for the question, right?
Yes. Yep.
Great.
And then the name of this is just going to be question. And then we are going to have to make a new view model called probably question instead of questions. And this can get confusing. So I think this naming is very much.
Do we want to call it out as an editor?
Maybe question editor.
Yeah, and all these things don't have to, like your slug can be different than your names and all that. So let's make it now. That just has to match that question editor.view in the route file. Just has to match. So
yep.
Okay.
Great. Okay. And then as we know, this will throw an error if we don't
put it. Yeah. And we're going to need our script tag at some point. So
Copilot almost gave me what I wanted.
Yeah, okay. There it is. Boom.
And in here, all you have to do to get this route parameter that we set up is come in here, and it's really the same thing that you were doing on your question card page. Sorry, right here with this props. So we're going to do define props instead of question view model. It's question. It's going to be the ID. So, and this is a string, if I remember correctly. It's a GUID, right. Which translates over to a string.
So you just hand it in as a prop. So Vue is smart enough; it just knows whether you're handing it in as something to. This isn't a. I mean, I guess it kind of is a component, but it's a page. It's a view. We're handing that in. It's coming in through the router, and it's just going to set that up for us, just like we're coming into a component. So it's model will be exactly the same.
The only other thing that we have to do, I believe, is we do need to add a props parameter down here.
So we're gonna have to tell it, hey, this is the thing that's supposed to be coming.
Yeah, because it knows that we're supposed to be adding some kind of variable here, but then we have to actually.
You actually have to go and do it.
Pass in that prop. And it looks like that looks correct, and it is casting to a number, so we don't want that. We just want it to be a string.
Because a lot of times IDs are numbers, but in this case, honestly, when you put those on your URLs, we like to use strings or GUIDs in this case, just so it's somewhat obfuscated. I mean, if it's an internal app, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just maybe a touch better.
Yeah, it's harder to increment through.
Yeah, you can't just say, oh, hey, give me, I'm number 8. Well, I wonder what number 11 is. And if your security isn't exactly right, perfect, you could be exposing some data. But I mean, the security stuff it's pretty easy to do, so it's not a big deal.
So we can test this really quick. And if I just go to question 1, I assume that this is our question with ID 1 because EF. Oh, wait, no, these are GUIDs, so I can't do that.
You can. It'll still work. It just won't show you, right?
It won't, no. So
it's going to be a blank page.
We can come here and we can actually get the ID of the question. This guy is the ID. So if we go to this, that should bring us, without the admin, that should theoretically bring us to our question page. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and even if you would have put 1 there, it would have been fine because it just wouldn't have.
Yeah,
it just shows.
It doesn't bring you. Yeah. So it would have been fine, but then if we ever loaded anything,
it wouldn't have worked, obviously, right? Okay.
Yeah, you can put anything here, technically.
Yep, and it's just going to throw that right as a prop coming in. Okay, so great. Let's go ahead and let's just load up let's put a link in.
Yeah, let's get a link so we don't have to go find the ID every time we want to go there. So on the question card, probably right next to the title here, we'll just put a button, or you can put a button, and it's going to be an icon button, and it's going to go. So we can either do a to, which is a router event, or we can do an @click and call a function.
See, I like to do to because that's going to give me the actual link, right? Rather than yeah.
And this is almost correct. I think we just called it question.
Yeah, to question, and give her the params, and we can just pass literally in all the stuff. And this is the name of the route.
Yes.
So that's what makes it interesting.
Maybe we should call this question editor. I don't know. It's okay. We won't go back and fix that. Naming is hard. And Copilot didn't finish my button for me.
There you go. You got the last one there.
Okay, that looks a little ugly. Let's wrap that inside of our vCard title, just like that. And Copilot seems to really want to default to using material design.
Yeah, it does, right. Until you start using the other ones, yeah. So it'll be pretty solid, yeah.
There we go.
Pencil. Can we space that over to the right?
Yes, we can. So let's do class equals ML, maybe 2, something like that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of stuff there. Great.
We can maybe do that, or
nice.
Something like that. That looks a little better.
Yeah, a little bit of tonal, because that way you can see you can click on something there. Now, if we hover over that, we're going to see the link.
Yep.
Right, so we see the link in the lower left-hand corner. Great. We click on that.
We go there.
Boom, there we are. Awesome. So now all we have to do is load up that object, because we're kind of on another page. We're doing a navigation. I mean, it's not really a navigation view, but I mean, if I guess we saved it at a higher level, we could leave that. But let's just go ahead and load it. Not a big deal. That way you can come in from the page no matter what.
So quiz time. Does anybody remember how to load objects with Coalesce? I showed you how to load list.
You go to the list. Does it happen to be exactly the same way?
It happens to be basically the same. So you just make a new variable called whatever your variable is. So ours is a question. And
in this case, we don't need to do any wrapper of ref, because we're never going to change our question. You only have to use ref when you're actually going to change it. If we're going to like allow you to move to the next question, do something like that, we'd have to use a ref, but we'd know to change that object to have a.
But then on top of that, Coalesce already wraps all of your view models.
All the view models are wrapped.
So even if you did want to do that, they're already all wrapped.
Well, but you have to wrap the underlying object. Otherwise, when you change it. So if we want to change that, even those are wrapped. So if you're ever going to change that underlying object, you have to wrap those in.
Yes, that is true.
And you call dot value on that. So okay, so here it is. It's just like we had a question list view model, this is just a question view model.
Yep, because we're just loading up one. So now if you want to do the question dot $$ load, you can see it's going to try and autocomplete this for me. If I just do this, it's not going to work. You see, everything breaks. This does need.
It doesn't know which question it's going to load, right? Yeah. See, it's passing the ID.
Now we do this, and I probably have to refresh because I had a little error. Okay, it definitely is loading, but let's.
But you don't really know it's loading because we're not displaying.
Let's verify that.
So if we just, there you go, question ID, and it should work quite great. Text, perfect. Look at that. Boom.
And we'll get rid of that ID. So we know it's loading. So what's the capital?
And Meg, I love how you went back and you put in the ID right there just to show that it was coming in, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a great programming technique. Like you're putting in little bits just to make sure that it's working right. I'm doing something. If I mess something up now, I can just see kind of that. It's not really a unit testing by any means, but it's this little bit of testing that we're doing along the way to make sure that as you go, that everything you're doing is working right up to the point that you have written it.
It's that manual testing step that it's just visually you're kind of doing those sanity checks as you go.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got our question and we have our answers, which we can check the network tab, but we do. It's really going to look. We have all the stuff that we have on the question card. So the question here is, what do we want to do to edit this stuff?
So we're going to need some way to edit the title, right? Or the question itself. And then we're going to have some kind of a list where we can edit each item in the list, right?
Yep, because we don't want to have to duplicate because we don't know how many questions there could be. There could be 4, there could be 6.
Yeah, right. So let me guess, you want to put this in a card?
I do really want to put this in a card, and I really want to route this in a V container.
Yeah, and then you want to put it in the V container because that's going to give us some space around the outsides.
Yep, and it will make it consistent with this.
Yep, look at that. And everything starts to look the same. Look at that. Super, super good UI stuff.
Okay, so first things first is I think we don't actually have to put this on
Yeah, we wouldn't have to.
because it's its own page.
Yeah.
But what we do want to do is we want to be able to edit this. So you could do something like v text field and hook it up to a view model and do all
Yeah, and
that.
I think that'll work, right? There it is. Now, if
Yep.
we edit it, that will just edit correctly.
Yep. See,
Super easy way to do
totally
that, right
work.
with you.
The other option is Coalesce has something called a C
Input.
I might be forgetting exactly how to do this, but C input, and then you hook up your model and you say your model is question, and then you hook up your I'm blanking
I
on,
think is it name?
oh, it might be your name, and then that's going to be text. And if we save that, maybe I lied to you guys. We might have to go look at the docs. Let's just go check real
I'm
quick.
going to check right now.
It's one of those things that
I forget how that. I should remember, but I didn't.
I almost know everything off the top of my head, but not quite. And there's a couple. There's like C input, C select. We want specifically here.
There's C display. There's C input.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. Not name. 4.
Oh, 4. There we go. That's what we wanted. I was very close. We were very close.
And you just go in on the Coalesce docs and you look up beautify components, and you're going to see there's display section, there's input section as well.
Yep.
So
and you can see here, this is behaving differently than our view model or than our text input, because we're not hooking it up directly to a view model, which I think you can hook this to a view model, and then it will behave the same. But what this is doing, it might not, but the good thing about this is that this will hook up to more complex types as well, not just text. So if you had drop downs and stuff.
Yeah, right, which is super nice. So if you hook up to an object property, it will then give you a list with like type ahead and search and all of the things and paging and all that. Unfortunately, we do have one, which is the answer,
We do. I was just going to do that. So
this is great. I forgot we even put that in. That's great.
What did we correct answer?
The correct answer.
See, look at that. And now, we get all the options.
All the options for all the questions. So we're gonna have to go back and work on that a little bit to make sure that's.
But that maybe is a different video.
We'll do another video. So you
gotta
can cross-link that, and you see why that's happening, because you have all the different questions. It's providing all the. It doesn't know that only the ones that are linked to that particular one.
It's working exactly as it should in this case.
So in this case, if you have like a list of cities that were just common, it would work. In this case, we actually have a child collection that has lots of things from lots of different parents, and so we have a parent exclusion, which is actually a thing in Coalesce allows us to do that. We're just not going to do that for this particular lesson. So in this one, the drop down is you'll just have to pick the right answer, which will be part of this question. So.
Yes. So that's kind of where this shines, is when you have these more
and if you type right there, it's going to limit the list.
And
we
don't have a search hooked up yet. Okay,
so we should probably add that.
Maybe next episode is hooking up all our back end stuff.
Yeah, right. So the issue here is that it doesn't know what the name field is, so it doesn't know how to search it. So we just have to go tell Coalesce, hey, this is your name field. So if we would have called the answer text name, it would have known to search on that. In this case, it doesn't, because it's called like text or something like that. So anyway, we'll go back and we'll put a little attribute in to take care of that. We'll probably look forward to that in the next episode. Super exciting cliffhanger episode where we go and fix some of these things. But we're just going to do the front end for this time. So let's go ahead and put our little loop in.
Yep. Okay. So let's get rid of this guy here. We don't need that anymore. And down here, let's do, I think we want to just say a C input with a loop, and maybe put like a little, we can come back and make this prettier. I like to just throw stuff on the screen to start with.
Right.
Answers. So this is going to be I might wrap this in a little div just to make it a little bit cleaner. That way we don't have a bunch of stuff on one line. Before answer and question. Oops.
Question of answers.
Question dot answers. And then we're going to say key equals answer dot stable ID or answer ID, whatever one, right?
Stable ID is probably a better choice, because we might even want to add answers.
Exactly. And then we're going to say answer, and then answer also is called text for its primary field that we're putting stuff into. And there are all the answers.
Perfect. So now we have ourselves a little editor.
Yep.
We can even put those answers in a card to give some hierarchy to the page, but it's fine for
We
right now.
could make this a lot prettier.
We can make it a lot prettier. We are not going for pretty in this. We're just going for
Functionality.
Yeah, for functionality. So now the question is, so let's go ahead and change it.
Yes, and let's also kind of take a look here. I think these are old from when I was messing with stuff. So we'll start changing this. Oh, and we're getting a little error here. Let's check what that is. Maybe these weren't old. Okay. I like to scroll to the top of these because they usually go top to bottom when you have these errors. Okay, unhandled error during execution of render function, C input model, name text. I wonder if I'm missing something on these. Let me just check docs really quick because I kind of guessed when I was setting these up how they get set up. I haven't done it in a
Every time you see C input model 4,
Okay,
you
so
don't need to put one in front of 4. So you're good. Yep, that's good. Model is that.
yep.
Or name.
The other thing too is I think we are on an older version of Coalesce than what I've been using because the template that you get when you set up Coalesce hasn't been updated for a couple months, I want to say. So I think that it's not on the latest version. We could also try updating Coalesce to see if that helps. So
is it, and that may have been some of the issues we saw with the things not updating across.
Yeah, that might be. So I am tempted to.
Okay, so what was the error that we're getting? Let's just take a look at that. We may need to just go offline and do a little upgrading, and we don't even have to do it offline. We can just do the upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take very long. It's just an unhandled exception. It's kind of, I'm getting mad here. C input requires a value metadata, specify it with the for prop. And that is, I mean, it should be specified here with the for prop, so I'm not sure.
And if you, so let's just debug this just a little bit. So take out the answer part. Does that error happen with all of them, or is it just one?
Yeah, great question. So let's get rid of one of these.
Okay, Control C.
Okay, so it looks like it might just be the answers. I wonder if we were doing something funky here with these guys. Because now if we were to comment these guys out, and then refresh, well, now it's actually fine.
Oh, maybe do we have just a refresh issue there?
Okay, let's do a hard refresh. Maybe we might have just been in a weird state.
Oh, you're still getting errors up on top. I just don't think you have your console open.
They're right here. Where do you see the errors?
Oh, I just up on.
Oh, these are just these little issues.
Oh, those are just issues.
Yeah. Okay. Not as a.
Okay, so maybe we didn't have a problem. It was just a refresh. We're still going to upgrade Coalesce and get into the back end, but we'll handle that in the next episode. We'll kind of do a little bit of cleanup.
Okay. Sorry, sidetracked. Anyways.
So now if you modify one of these, and then we go back, is it going to be the same?
Yeah, so if I modify this, I have the network tab open as a little hint, but will it be the same?
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing any network traffic, so therefore nothing's getting saved.
Yeah, so no. So
how do we get stuff to save? I mean, I guess there's kind of 2 use cases we want to cover. One is like where you just want to auto save everything. And we're seeing that a lot more often in UIs where there's just, you go to a page, you edit it, and you go back and you just assume that it's going to save. And there isn't an explicit save button. I mean, you see that in a lot of OSs. I mean, like all the settings tabs and things like that. This is, you assume it works that way. Now, there's a lot of assumptions that go with it. You want cases where you want to save by hand too. Yeah. So Coalesce supports both. You can do that either way. So let's look at the autosave case. Well, let's look at a manual save, please.
Yeah, let's look at manual. Because
so we want
to make this autosave ultimately match the admin page a little bit.
Right. So, and it's always weird when you navigate to a page. Like I think if you have a dialog that pops up, you just click OK. That kind of can save it that way too. So it really depends on how you're presenting your user interface and how you want that experience to go.
Yeah, autosave and save. That's like a very core UI UX.
It's right, and you just need to be consistent, and so the user knows when you're doing which. There isn't like a right way to do it. It's just just be consistent.
Just to kind of learn what other sites do. Usually copy what other sites do because you don't want to be the trailblazer for design. People don't like that.
Be consistent, make it work like other sites.
So to do a manual save, all you have to do is when you click, you can either hook this into a function down in your setup.
But since it's only one line, we can literally just put it right.
Yeah, you just do
guess where it is.
Question dot save, super easy, and save that guy.
In this case, we're not actually calling the method, so you're not putting those parentheses around just because the view is going to know that's a method and it's going to call it for us.
Yeah, this is a little bit. There are cases where you do have to do this, but I don't want to get into those cases right now.
But just know that
they're more of an issue when you're doing like emits and stuff, where when you call these things. But yeah, Vue will execute this for us.
So let's see what happens.
Okay, let me clear this so it's a little bit more clear.
See the network tab and see what's going on.
Let's just get rid of the question mark. And then save. Okay, that didn't do anything. So let's see why. So maybe I was wrong about that.
Oh, you do have to put them on.
That might
Well, that'd be
be.
weird.
That is different than maybe that was a V2 thing. Now I can't remember.
Oh, and yeah, and yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we're gonna get some stuff wrong. That's just the way it goes.
I might be getting those versions confused. I'll have to look that up. But there are definitely cases where you can do this, but you might as well just always call it. So anyways, let's do that again. So you can see my question mark's removed. Let me put the question mark back and then save. You can see here, this is saving, and it's saving all the things. So if I were to
just save the entire object.
One of these, or if I was to change this, and then, oh, that did actually not save the answers. Oh, I know why. So it saves this. That is actually an interesting thing to talk about. This is a different kind of save. So you can see it saves my correct answer and it saves my question text. But it does not, let's fix this. There we go. But it does not save these guys down here.
Okay, right, because they're child object. Okay.
Because they are actually not part of the question object.
Right.
So you have to do a bulk save on this. So instead of save, you do bulk save, just like that. Now, when you come down here and you hit save, you can see it updates to your correct answer because we changed the text of the correct answer.
Oh, nice. Okay,
and great. It updates your answer.
So it not only saves, it actually loads whatever the object is.
Yeah, so it saves and then it loads up that object, which some cases is not always desirable, so you can actually turn that off. Yeah,
but sure, right. And
99%
is if I want to save kind of areas, I can go down and save through. And there's dirty flags all the way through, so I know if something's been edited from its original state. You know if it looks the same or not.
Yep.
And so you can go check those if you want to. So let's just really quickly turn on auto saves, just so folks can see kind of how that works.
Yeah. So let's come down here and do question. And it's going to be question dot use auto save, just like that. And now I am going to come over here and change, let's clear this network tab because you'll be able to see it. If I change the correct answer to London, you can see a save automatically came up. I did not click save. Or if I get rid of this question mark, there another save kind of popped up.
And there is a little debounce there. So you see there's a little tiny bit of delay just so that if you're typing, it's not going to be saving on every keystroke.
Yeah, otherwise I'd start lagging here. So you can see as I'm typing, it doesn't really save, but then as soon as I'm done typing, it goes and saves, which is
there's some options there is how exactly you want that to work. Yeah, that makes it really super simple to do that. So we can either set it up one way or the other. I think in this case, it probably just makes sense to have, I don't know, we can kind of decide what we want to do.
Well, the issue here with the auto save is I don't think it'll pick up on these. So if we wanted to do auto saving for answers, we have to hook that up, but our bulk save will pick up on this.
Bulk save picks it up.
So it's just because this is a totally different object over here.
Right. So the autosave just works for the parents, not necessarily for the children.
Yep. So there's something to keep in mind. So I think we're going to keep the button.
Okay, great.
Just because otherwise then I have to write some more code to set up the answers.
Awesome. Well, I think that's just a little shot at doing an editor and some easy ways to really get things going. So great. We're going to go next time. We'll go back. We'll do some things in the background. We're going to fix up that text field so that we have searching.
Yep.
Probably upgrade the version of Coalesce, the latest and greatest stuff, and then keep on building a really awesome trivia application. So
yeah, and that'll be good to update because then maybe we can talk about some of the new syntax for the C loaders.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so you see when it's loaded. Yeah, that's fantastic. All right. Well, until next time, keep on building awesome sites with Coalesce.